So welcome everyone for today's webinar, which will be on bug bounty and bug hunting. So I'm from CyberSapiens, the cybersecurity company, and who we are exactly? We are cybersecurity experts who are committed to secure the digital world, and we have various branches which are in Bangalore, Australia, USA, and Canada. Services which we provide, which are ISO 2700 certifications. We provide a lot of certifications in many uh, VAPT. And when you're talking about VAPT services, we have VAPT services in web, API, mobile, cloud, and even SOC. And we're talking about SOC. We also provide SOC analysis and malware analysis. We also provide GRC services along with phishing and malware simulation. To provide these service, we have also developed a tool of our own, which is called Fishcale. And we also provide cybersecurity training and employee awareness. So we provide a lot of services along with actual training and internship to the people or students who are interested. So to know more about our company, you can scan this code, which takes you to our main domain, which is the cybersapiens.com.au. So if you want to know more about our services, you can go through this QR code and you can know more about it. Now comes the interesting part, which is today's webinar, which is the masterclass on bug bounty and bug hunting, where we will understand, explore, and begin your journey into the world of bug bounties. So, who am I? My name is Abhay, and I'm a security analyst and a mentor. What I do is I also did certifications in CH, uh, and also I do red team and VAPT assessment. I specialize in web application, API, and also source code review. I also provide training and mentorship to the students and interns who are actually curious in the field of cybersecurity. I also do bug bounty in my free time as well as, when you're curious and you want to learn more about bug bounty. So, coming to our webinar, what we'll learn in today's webinar? We'll learn what bug bounty actually is about, the history of bug bounty, because you'll think that why bug bounty was actually created in the first place. Bug hunting process and platforms, which will give you insight if you want to learn more about bug bounty or where you actually want to start your journey. Stories of bug bounty and training. A few of those are international, also few of them are local ones. Common vulnerabilities and live demo. We'll be mentioning which are the common vulnerabilities which you might able to find. And along with the demonstration, if we are able to find a bounty, depending on my level of expertise, and yeah, we'll just go through it along with reporting and Q&A. So to begin with, introduction to bug bounty. Bug bounty programs are programs held by companies to reward the security experts and researchers for finding the vulnerabilities or bugs. You can use both the terms, okay? Vulnerabilities when you are working as a security analyst at a company, and bugs, you use that term when you are working as a bug bounty hunter. And bug bounty has a lot of names, okay? Depending on what kind of reward you get or what kind of work you actually do. It, it can also be called public and private bug bounty programs, BBP, which is bug bounty program, where a security researcher will get a bounty. VDP, where you're just disclosing a vulnerability. We'll learn about it later. And RDP, Responsible Disclosure Program, CDP, Coordinated Disclosure Program, also Hall of Fame. As you know, bug bounty can be called a lot of names, and depending on what the company is expecting from the security researchers, you can name it any way you want. History of bug bounty hunters, how actually the bug bounty programs came into place. Now, there were three types of hacker to begin with, which were the white hat hacker, who were hired by companies to fix the bugs. Gray hat hackers who were both working as white collar jobs, and also as bug bounty hunters. Not bug bounty hunters, while they were trying to find those vulnerabilities, and also the black hat hackers who were finding those bugs or weaknesses and misusing them. So what used to happen was white hat hackers were not that common at that time. And as you know, a company might have various products. If we take into consideration Google, Google has Google Meet, Google Chrome, and Google Drive, and so on. And each product will need at least 10 to 20 people and even a security team to take over or to find all the vulnerabilities or weaknesses. So what used to happen if a company or even a product needed a specific team, the cost would be too much to pay them monthly or to pay their salaries. And what happened if a black hat hacker had found that bug? He would sell that bug on the black market, and what he got out of that, he got you could call it. He got paid for that vulnerability actually, and during that there was no bug bounty program, so that the fame which you got for finding that bug was only limited to the black market or even the dark web, you can see. When you're talking about technical stuff, we call it dark web. So what they did, what companies decided to solve both of these problems. One was the higher cost, and second one was to stop people from disclosing those bugs or weaknesses to the dark web. They thought of a simple way, like a creative way to solve both of these problems easily. And they brought the bug bounty program into existence. So what happened using bug bounty programs? The first thing, the hackers who actually found those bugs got reported and also got the fame which they deserved. If you are dedicating that time to find that vulnerability or bug, because sometimes, based on my experience, it takes from 10 minutes to even days or months to find a single vulnerability or a bug. So what happened at that time if bug bounty programs were not there? You were not getting appreciated or you were not getting rewarded for that bug to be found. But the existence of bug bounty program or even the creation of this program solved both of those cases. Now, who can become a bug bounty hunter? You might have that curious question to begin with. Can I be a bug bounty hunter? Yes. Anyone can start their journey in bug hunting. No degree or prior background is required. People will say that, okay, I don't know coding. I can't start my journey in bug bounty or even in ethical hacking. But that's not true. There are various researchers or even the students which we get who are from a completely separate background who are not connected to the technical stuff. Even I, like when I'm talking about myself, even with this much of experience, if you tell me to write a piece of code or a program, I won't be able to write. But I have enough knowledge to find that vulnerability, to read that code which is already written and find that bug which I'm searching for. But remember, if you're wanting to work as a cybersecurity analyst at any of the companies, you have to have a degree because that is the minimum requirement to apply for a job. When you're talking about bug bounty, you're working by yourself, you're trying to find that bugs and report it to get paid for it. But when you're talking about an actual white collar job, a degree is required. Now, the main thing, the mindset of a bug bounty hunter, because this is the place where people will, mainly stall. Like most of the time, people will complain, why am I not able to find a bug, or why am I not able to report a bug, even months and months of, working hard. So there are some points which you have to take into consideration. One is the curiosity. You should have the curiosity to find where exactly the bug usually lies. Now, when you're talking about a web application, there are various functions which you can find, like a login function or even uploading a profile, or there are a simple function where you can send a chat message. So what you should do, what should you should have exactly is the curiosity. What would happen if I send some kind of script there? Will it break that function or would it work properly? What if I perform this action in a different way? What if I enter the password which I used the previous time? So all the curiosity should be needed while working on a target or even a website. Patience. Now we see patience is the key because sometimes you will be lucky to be able to find a vulnerability like within 10 or half an hour, depending on your experience. But if you want to score big, you see those news where a single researcher is able to find a bug uh, which gave him the reward for like $10,000, even $1 lakh. All of those require patience for you to find that one. You have to work on that single function, even if the one which I talked right now, right? So it can be a login function or a place in a website where you're uploading your profile photo. That researcher might have worked on that for days or even months to break that part of the website and to find that bug. So the main thing, patience is the key to find a bug. Consistency, yeah, you have to practice a lot. When I say a lot, yeah, because when you're talking about cybersecurity, the one topic which you're reading today might be updated tomorrow. A new subtopic might arise in the same thing which you're reading today. So you have to keep yourself up to date. Even when you're working as a analyst or even when you're having a white collar job, you have to keep yourself updated. And when you're talking about bug hunting, there are a lot of tools which you can use. Which tools are useful? Is the new tool more useful than the tools which I'm using today? So you have to research more about the topics which you are working on a daily basis. Handling rejections a lot. Even speaking with my experience, I reported a lot of vulnerabilities, but most of them were rejected because they were already reported by someone else, or they were not even considered one as a vulnerability or bugs. So handling rejection should be taken into consideration because you should not feel down. Something like I already reported 3 to 4 vulnerabilities or bugs, so why am I not getting a valid bug right now? So also keep that in mind. Now, if you compare the mindset of a bug bounty hunter, the normal person, the thinking is limited to a minimal state. Developers have to think a bit more because they have to make changes to the website and they have to add all the features which the people are using. But when you're talking about a bug bounty hunter, he should think in a vast way, thinking that how can I approach that function. If the work of developer is to build something, the work of bug bounty hunter is to break something. Now, when I'm talking about breaking, okay, you're not supposed to cause damage to the website or any of the users. So you should find that vulnerability or even the bug on that website, but keep it to a limited range. Now to the main part, how exactly is the bug hunting process take place? So there are 5 major parts when you're talking about bug hunting. The first one will be reconnaissance, gathering information. Now, as I told, the mindset of a bug bounty hunter, you can think of it as two separate ways. One, you can think of it as a doctor's approach. When you're talking about a doctor, you know how the doctor examines his patient. He asks like, what are the major symptoms? Where are you feeling the pain? He'll try to pinpoint the correct location where exactly the disease is. Similar to that, as a bug bounty hunter, you should pinpoint the correct location where the vulnerability or the bug is. Now, how exactly are you pinpointing that location? You have to perform the reconnaissance process. And when you're performing reconnaissance, you can think of one of those movie scenes, okay? There are many movies right now which you might have seen, like Doom or even movies from Tom Cruise, where they plan the whole approach. If you want to get that reward or even the prize, you are planning the whole approach. Similar to that, when you're talking about bug bounty, if you set your target on a single website, you have to plan from where exactly are you approaching, from what and all end open points are there? Are there any open windows, doors, or what will be the traffic at that specific time? You have to gather information regarding all of those. Now, Regarding the reconnaissance, for example, I can give you a simple example. Right now, okay, wait a minute. So we'll just open a new tab here and see, you use Google on a daily basis. If I want to be specific, you can just type Google right now. This is the Google search, which like most of the people, I say, like even a small toddler will use the Google on a normal basis to search the things they want. But Google will give you much more flexibility rather than just searching for a name or some kind of date like what happened on this day and all. So when you're talking about uh, bug bounty hunter, you should use every tool at your disposal. So that's the main thing. Even the simple Google search, how can it be used? If I want to search for some normal thing, like I can search for Facebook, what would happen? It would load the Facebook page. That's the normal function the people use. So what I can do is something known as Google docking. It's one of the simplest reconnaissance process even bug bounty hunters as well as the security analyst use. So what can I do is I can use simple keywords, nothing like I can give in URL, I can give admin and hyphen login. So if I give this simple prompt, what it will do, it will list out every website there is on Google and their admin login page, which is not visible to normal people. So what happened right now? I was able to find the admin login page of each and every website. I'm not trying to pinpoint to a specific website here. I'm just trying to list out all the admin pages which are available on Google. So these are all available for even the general public to use. But the people don't know how to actually access these pages. So if I want to pinpoint to a specific location or even a specific website, what I can do? I can give insight, and if I want, I can give it as Facebook. So I got every login page which are connected to Facebook and are available on Google. So that's how from there you exactly start your uh, journey to find a single vulnerability. So you should be consistent and use every tools at your disposal to gather each and every information possible on the target. That's the main thing about reconnaissance. Now the second thing, scanning. Identify weak points via tools and manual testing. And in cybersecurity and even bug bounty, there are a lot of tools. Okay, people say that don't rely on tools completely. Yeah, I agree with that. You should use tools because when you're talking about bug bounty, the main thing is you have to reduce the time which you give on that specific website. If I use reconnaissance tools or any other tools to reduce the time as much as possible, what would happen is it would either increase the time of me reduce the time of me finding that bug and moving on to the second target. And also, I will have a lot of time to spare. So there are a lot of tools which you can use. There are tools like Bugcrowd. There are tools like uh, if you're talking about a specific vulnerability, there's something like SQL Map. There's Subfinder. Even each tool dedicated for its own purpose. There are hundreds of tools, so you can use those. And the main thing, they are free of cost to use. And the third thing, exploitation, safely validate works with proof of concept. Now, when I'm talking about exploitation, the main thing is you have to exploit those vulnerabilities. You should have the specific knowledge, like how can you exploit that vulnerability? How could you manipulate that vulnerability without causing actual damage to the web application or even the other user. So you should take that in note. When you're doing this exploitation, there are times when people who don't have the correct knowledge, they just try to exploit it and sometimes cause harm to the actual website. So you should be careful here. When you're performing this step, you have to do this exploitation process in a controlled manner. The fourth one is reporting. Reporting also takes a lot of time, because you have to give each and every detail on the steps which you took to find that vulnerability. And reporting is also necessary. Okay, it's not like you're just recording what you found or just sending a random screenshot saying that okay, your website is vulnerable. That much is not enough. You should specify where the vulnerability or the bug was found, what steps did you take, tools did you use, what kind of impact will it cause to the website. You should be as specific as possible, because the security team might not be aware of what that vulnerability is about, or where exactly or how exactly the tools they have to use to approach to that specific location. You have to be clear in this report. You have to be clear of each and every step. And the final one, reward. You receive money, swag. That's the main one of the things which you can receive, and also recognition. And in the world of cybersecurity, recognition is one of the main keys. There are people who are earning a lot of bounty and also recognition, even if they are not working 9 to 5. Based on their experience and knowledge, they are earning in millions and also earning that fame which they need. Now, the bug bounty platforms, you might be curious, where exactly do you have to start the bug bounty process? There are platforms like HackerOne, there are platforms like Intigriti, Bugcrowd. All of these platforms allow the security researchers or even the bug bounty hunters, you can call, to gather at a single place, and they can decide what target they are picking today. It's not like they'll just post one or two targets. There will be hundreds or sometimes even thousands of websites listed there. Depending on your requirement, you can just pick a day, and depending on your mood, you can either select a web application, mobile, or an API and start working from there itself. So all the security researchers gather in these kinds of platform, and there also Synack, you can go there. And we also have private and public bug bounty programs. One of the main ones is public, and what public bug bounty programs are, they are similar to these platforms which host bug bounty programs. So if you don't want to partner yourself with this platform, what you can do, your own company can host their own private bug bounty programs where researchers have to find those bugs and report it. But the thing is, you have to search for these programs yourself. It's not like they'll just pop up in your window and you'll get notified that okay, this company which didn't have a bug bounty program hosted their own one. So you have to search for them. There are a lot of ways to search. You can do that. And also the private bug bounty program. You remember the point when I said fame is also important. That fame is useful when you are invited to private bug bounty program. Now the difference in public and private, in private, you'll have uh, the higher chances of finding a vulnerability or a bug, because they only choose between the best, and it will only be limited to like mostly 10 or 20 researchers. So the chances will increase. And also the pay will increase because they're actually inviting you depending on your fame and asking you to find those bugs. So you can do that. There are also NCIPC. So these are the place where you report vulnerabilities or bugs on government websites. So government actually hosted one of their plans to encourage researchers on finding vulnerabilities on government programs. Many the websites like go.in, you find those websites, right? If you are a security researchers and find vulnerabilities or bugs on those websites, then you can report it on this platform. They will give you recognition because I have already reported many of the vulnerabilities on government websites, and they have recognized my uh, work and also given me, the recognition for that. And the last one will be Bug Bounty Hall of Fame. Now, there are a few websites like small scale businesses which can't afford to give actual bounties for the vulnerabilities or bugs to be found. but they will have a Hall of Fame section in their website. So what Hall of Fame is, if you find any vulnerability, it doesn't depend on the severity level. It doesn't have to be a high level or even a low level or a medium level. If you find a vulnerability which is valid, then your name will be included in the Hall of Fame and it will be there permanently. So what you can do, you can add that in your LinkedIn profile or even your resume saying that I have achieved the Hall of Fame for this specific website, and it would increase your fame. Now, when you're talking about successful stories, you have the curiosity to know who might be successful. Santiago Lopez, first hacker to earn 1 million on the HackerOne at the age of 19. As I told, there is no age for bug bounty. Depending on your skills and experience, you can start earning from today itself. Orva Atyat, a highly respected bug bounty hunter, ranked among top researchers. What he does is he mainly reports high-level bugs only because it will increase his fame a lot. Mark Litchfield, one of the world's highest earned bug bounty hunters. Interns, there are a lot of interns, okay, in our program who earn bounties on a monthly basis. So they got bounties from Facebook, NASA, and many other companies. So yeah, and researchers you can follow. There are many researchers you can follow and even learn from on a daily basis. You can follow them on LinkedIn or if they're on Instagram, they will post their recent achievements there itself. So you can do that, or you can just go on other platforms like HackerOne and all. Now, the main thing, how we train bug bounty hunters, structured learning path. Now, we're talking as CyberSapiens, how we exactly train bug bounty hunters. We have a training program where we train each and every person uh, from the beginning itself. If they are from a beginner stage, we train them. If they are from intermediate stage, we train them from there. We start from the scratch and train them so that they can be independent bug bounty hunters. Hands-on with tools, Burpsuit, Nuclei, Subfinder, JS Finder, we use a lot of tools. We keep ourselves up to date, okay? We use the latest tools and also encourage the interns who come here or the trainees who come here to use those tools, and we even teach them. And those tools will be helpful even if they're working as a bug bounty hunter or if they want to apply for a job as a security analyst. Safe practice environments, we try to keep it as safe as possible because without the proper experience, you can't use those skills which we teach you on the real websites. So we give you labs, we give you a protected environment, we can test your skills. Focus on reporting. We also help you to write those bug bounty reports because that's one of the main things which are required. Dedicated mentorship. We also provide you one-to-one guidance and expert support. Even as I told, I am a mentor who gives my uh, ex- who use my expertise to guide those interns to be more experienced in those topics like web application or API and mobile. Career and profile building, we also help you to build your career when you're talking about in like HackerOne, it might be, or LinkedIn is very famous nowadays. Companies ask for your LinkedIn profile rather than any other one. So even those. Now, some of the common vulnerabilities you can find. We're just listing common few vulnerabilities. It would take you a bit of skill to find all of these vulnerabilities. But yeah, XSS, cross-site scripting, one of the injection vulnerabilities. IDOR is a vulnerability which will allow you to access others' data. SQL injection, tampering with databases. You can see those databases where data is stored of an organization. Even there, you will be able to actually crack them. SSRF, CSRF, business logic bugs, tricking the server or bypassing checks, there will be a lot of security. It's not like when you're doing bug bounty hunting, the website won't be thinking of that. Okay, the attackers or the even the researchers might approach using this way. So even the attack websites will try to prevent against those approaches. Sensitive data exposure. leaked API keys. So there are a lot of vulnerabilities. When I'm talking about just the web application, you will be able to find more than 50 vulnerabilities on a website. So it depends based on your experience, how you're approaching the target. Now, moving on to live demo, we'll try to give you or show you actual experience of how the bug bounty process works. Before that, we'll show you a few websites where you can actually start your bug bounty uh, journey. So as I mentioned, there's HackerOne, there's Bug Bounty, Bugcrowd platform where they list out all of the companies which have an active bug bounty program. So what you can do is you can sign up in any one of these websites and you can start today itself. So if you go and click on any one of the programs, see details, you can just click on there. They will have information regarding their program. Now remember, you have to read each and every detail which is listed in that program. They will mention what kind of vulnerabilities you can report, what is the maximum payout for the highest severity vulnerability. So it will be mentioned there. And on the left side, you can see the scope in the sense only what websites are there in this program. Now, if you go to a specific or even some random program and you just start working on a website which is not even listed in the scope, it will not be considered as a bug. So you have to keep that in mind. And they will also mention the rules which you have to follow. Okay. And as I told, you have to test in a controlled manner. You are not supposed to uh, harm the actual website or even the other users who are using that website. So you have to follow all the rules. Here you can see program rules are there, submit one vulnerability per rule. So you have to go through all of these rules and you should follow these. And after that, there's also something known as out of scope. If you find vulnerabilities in this section, then it will not be considered. So what I recommend you as a beginner bug bounty hunter is you can sign up for these websites, but to begin with, you can go for private disclosure programs, which are hosted by websites, uh, like hosted by the website itself. So instead of partnering with websites like HackerOne or even Bugcrowd, what they do is they will host the bug bounty program themselves, and you can start there itself because the crowd will be less. If you go to a website where it attracts like thousands or even lakhs of researchers, then the competition will increase. So what I recommend you to build up experience and to rack up that fame, you can start with public bug bounty program. So this is one of the programs which comes under public bug bounty. So here the same thing, you can read the intro, you can read the responsible disclosure policy, what you have to do. Within the scope, they will mention what vulnerabilities you can report, but the main thing they'll say what you cannot. So we do not accept bugs related to building or cPanel. So they will mention what vulnerabilities they won't accept. So you should keep that in mind because even if you report uh, they will not accept it. And if you report those vulnerabilities which are not in scope in websites like HackerOne, it would also reduce your fame. So keep that in mind. And for example, what we'll do, we'll just go with the just a simple testing, whether we can find any vulnerability or not. This was a website which I was working on before, but for a fresh start, we'll start with the basic website. Now, this was the program. They didn't mention exactly which website you have to work and okay here they'll ask you our domain ucars.com, so you can just click on it and it will open the website. Now, as I told, the mindset is important. When you're working on one of the targets, you have to keep points of each and every entry points will be the sign in function, even a simple search bar, even here you can see there will be AI chat box, you can try to manipulate that. There will be the social media logos. You will be able to perform broken link hijacking. So there are a lot of entry points. What you can do is you can keep note of them. You can open a notepad, start writing down like login, log out. in the sign up page, what functions are there. Now here there's a sign in function using Google to create an account. We'll see if there are any other functions here. You can also do that. So for now, what I'll do, you can start from the basic itself. Right now, if we start to enumerate all the subdomains and even the URLs, it would take a lot of time. So what you can do is just a simple step I can show. What you can do is you can start from checking the security headers itself. You can go to one of these websites and just copy the main domain link and just paste and see if the security headers are implemented on the website and the main ones are already implemented. You can move on with the other testing vulnerability. So what I'll do is if you go for any scripting or even high level vulnerability, it would take around like half an hour or more than half an hour. So what we can do is we can try with simple vulnerabilities here. Okay, there's a forget function option here where if you press or if you provide your email, it will send you a link. So what I can try. So what came in my mind is I can try for no rate limiting here. So I can see how many emails I can get. Is there a limit on how many emails the website will send me? Is there like 100 or 200 or so? Or is there no limit? Or what I can do is if I'm able to bypass the login function. So for now, I'll just create an account. I'll just create a random account right now. So I'll use a temporary email for it because we won't be providing our main daily use email. So what I'll do, I'll just um give a random number. Now, while testing, we try to save as much time as possible. Okay. So what you can do is just fill random information as possible. Like we won't be needing like the specific information. So I'll just fill some random info here and a random password. And also a name. What I can give, I'll just give a random one right now. So I'll just give the register. Now, as I told, while working as a bug bounty hunter, you should try to minimize the time as much as possible for it, like the time needed for you to find that vulnerability. So what you could do is you could make a list or a cheat sheet, we say. You could make a list where you already list out the commands which you give for the uh, tools or the scripts which you give to find a specific vulnerability. If I go on my cheat sheet, I already made a list for to use tools like Subfinder, Amas, or even tools like Wayback URLs to minimize the time which I invest in this specific website. There are also commands listed to use other tools like 403 bypass or SQL map. So there are a lot of commands I have already listed. So you can do that. This is one of the main things and bug bounty hunter needs. And here you can see I have commands related to each and every vulnerability. So you can do that. So right now, as I was saying, we have to find all the entry points, but since we are limited or we are running out of time, so what we can do, what we'll just log out and work on the same function which I mentioned right now. So going to the login function, what I was talking about was this forget function. So what I do is I used an email to log in or create an account. If I give submit right now, it will say password sent. So we'll not work on the vulnerability. I'll not say what that vulnerability or the working is about. We'll see if this is vulnerable or not. We got the password. So what we'll check is the same function. If we can send numerous emails to that client or even the person who is using this website. So I'll be using the Bugcrowd tool. As I told, there are a lot of tools which you can use while testing for this vulnerability. So we'll just use this tool to capture that request and I'll just send this request to the intruder. And for now, I'll just stop this tool. So this is the request which I captured. What I want is to mass attack this mailbox. So you know that sometimes you get a lot of SMS or even emails. Sometimes you are able to do those. So what I'll select some options which I will be needing to run this tool or even the attack. And I'll just select 200 requests which I'll be sending to my mail. Press on start attack right now. So what I'm doing right now, I'm seeing if there is an uh, limit to how many request email can I request from this website, because this website has a CPU or a database which is used to run this website. But what happens if I'm using most of its resources? So it might be slow for other users. So the website should take that into consideration. So even this is called a vulnerability, which is known as no rate limit. So what I'm doing is sending 100 or even I can send thousands of requests. So we'll try to reload here to see, just turn off this intercept and try to reload again, still using the same mail. Okay, it's get here. You can see on the top, it's got like 128 emails right now, and it's still going on because I have sent 200 emails. So this can be considered as a vulnerability, which is known as no rate limit. So depending on your experience, you are able to find a vulnerability within even, as I told, 10 minutes or even days it might take. So for now, I'll just continue this attack in the background. And if you wanted, we could have tested for other vulnerabilities like cross-site scripting in the search function and even other vulnerabilities, but it would take a lot of time. So for the main thing, as I told, the reporting part which is needed. So for now, to give you an example, I can show like how the report is actually written. So for the report, you should have a specific format like hello team. You should specify what the vulnerability is about. You should describe that vulnerability, and you should specify the perfect URL or the correct URL where the vulnerability lies. Severity, you should mention how severe it is, like what kind of damage it might cause if left unattended. Steps to reproduce that vulnerability, the payloads if you use, optional to the vulnerability or the bug itself, impact what it might cause on that specific website, and the reference. Now, as I told, the bug bounty hunter should reduce his time as much as possible. So, what I have is I already have formats related to uh, certain vulnerabilities. So, this is the vulnerability which I found right now. Here you can see I already have a specific format. What I'll do is I'll go to that website. We'll see how we should actually write a report. Sometimes they will just provide an email where you have to mail that report. Otherwise, we'll see about this actual website we will working on. Here you can see they have a report section. They said if you discover a bug, we appreciate your cooperation. And here they also mentioned the reward. Okay, as I told you, small scale companies don't actually give a reward. So they have a Hall of Fame section. And here you can see the Hall of Fame. They mention when exactly you found that vulnerability. And if you have a LinkedIn link, so what they'll do, they will link it along with that Hall of Fame. So you will be listed there. Any person who's interested in your profile will be able to visit it. So that's one kind of fame which you will be getting. But the main thing is the reporting which we need right now. So they already have a format, what kind of report you have to submit. So what I'll do is you can either use your name, like there will be a pseudo name when you're working as an analyst. Every security researcher will have their own name, so you can use that, or you can use your original name like Abhay, and the email address. So you have to use your original email address or the one you will be using for all the other platform like HackerOne or even Bugcrowd. You should have only a single one, because yeah, you will be recognized more often using that. Abuse and bug, we can give it under abuse and bug because you're abusing a functionality. You can do that. Priority, since I have already listed, depending on my previous research, the priority is medium here, or medium to high, you can say. We'll give medium right now. Ticket details, what will be the subject about? You have to specify what this mail is about. So what you'll do is, we'll say vulnerability report, write the heading, no rate limit. And I didn't specify in because you can find no rate limiting in various other functionality. I'll just give and say reset password function. You can specify that. And in the main message, since I already have a specific format, I'll just copy this whole thing and we can edit it later on. I'll just copy it. Okay, they're using it to give a preview. Okay, it will be changed later on. So what we can do is we can just add some spaces in between. Hello team, I have found a no rate limiting in the password function, which allows you to send unlimited password request. So you can do that. Description, you have to describe where exactly you have found it. URL, you should specify the URL. Okay. You should give each and every detail as much as possible because that will increase the likeliness of your report getting actually accepted. So what we'll do, we'll just go back to the website here, and it was the same website. So here, this was the one. I'll just copy the URL from the section and I'll just paste it so that the security team will know where exactly they have to go. And we'll just remove this since we already added the severity. And if you want, we can also add the steps prior to that. Since I know rate limiting requires those same basic steps each and every time, I did the same thing. One, go to the functionality, and you can also specify the same URL here again. Go back a bit. Okay, not showing the screen. And we'll use is using the Bugcrowd tool. You have to specify what tool you exactly used and what functions of those tools you used. So we use the Bugcrowd tool to capture the request, send the request to the intruder tab, we can say, and you have to configure it so that it sends over 200 requests to the mail. And payload if you have used a specific payload, you can also include that because it will be helpful though for those teams. They can increase their team depending on that specific payload itself, and they can learn from it later on. Proof of concept, what I can do is I can make it a little bolder. Here, what you have to do is you have to insert the images of. Most of the time, when you're talking about proof of concept, you have to give solid evidence saying that you actually found that vulnerability. Otherwise, just writing a mail saying that there is a vulnerability without actually showing a proof, they will not accept it. The proof of concept will remove because they have function here. Impact, single sentence item. Okay. So impact, what impact it will cause. Account enumeration, you will be able to find others accounts. Email spamming, I can spam some other users. So it would you know bring down the experience for this specific website for that user. So it might also reduce the number of users who are visiting that same website. It would do that. It will be a loss for the company, right? So you have to specify that. Phishing, you can do that. Mail server. So you have to specify each and everything, and you should also mention the suggested fixes, like what kind of fixes they can do related to this vulnerability. What can they can do to solve this specific bug. That's rate limiting, that's which will reduce how many requests can be sent to that specific email. And we can just add two or three. We don't want to make it a lot of extra content to be added. So what we'll do is we'll just add two or three uh, remediations which can fix this vulnerability. Mainly the rate limiting will be enough. So we'll add CAPTCHA and generic responses, so which will give them better options. After that, the add attachment. So you should be able to add. You should take screenshot. I won't be doing that because I'll have to record the whole thing again, and I'll have to send a video proof here. But you got the point. How a detailed report should be written. If there's no format here, you should do the same thing, but in your own mail. You should add everything like subject. You should add the message. The main thing you should say that I have attached the necessary information like the video proof or even the screenshots necessary to recreate this vulnerability, and you should send that mail. Without those, the chances of the bug getting accepted will fall. So you should do that. Add the attachment. I'll do it later. And if I get a bounty, I might just upload it in my LinkedIn. So you can just see that there itself. So that was regarding the reporting. And yeah, if you want, you can add a few references. There is something known as CV based on the previous reports. You can just add that. You can also refer to this specific reference, and you can you know uh, know more about that vulnerability. You can also do that, but you should have all of these content in a single report. That's the main thing. And yeah, that was all regarding bug bounty and bug hunting, like the main things which are necessary for you to get into bug bounty and bug hunting. If you talk about each and every vulnerability, it would take a lot of time. And yeah, if you have any questions regarding bug hunting, or if you want to get into bug bounty, you can put that question in the chat box.
Now I will be passing over the phone. I'll be like passing over to Abhay. He will be joining. He will be answering all the technical side of questions. So the chatbot is open, and feel free to ask everything you want to.
Okay, thank you, Shubhri. And one main thing I'm looking here is people asking for the cheat sheet and the creation of one. The one thing I suggest is list out the tools which you will be using. It's based on experience. Which tools which you are most comfortable with. It's not like you can recommend, or I can recommend you my cheat sheet or even suggest it, but uh, at the end of the day, you will be the one using it. So you have to know what that outcome will be. So you have to do that. And if there are any technical questions, yeah, how to start bug bounty? So one main thing is start from the web application. Okay, if you are interested, because one main thing is you have to have the curiosity. Learn how website works. It's not like you're just starting to hack itself. So learn how a website works. Just the basic one, how requests are sent. Use start using Burpser tool. It's you will have a community version which is free of cost. You can also do that. You can start to see a few basic videos on YouTube. So even from there, where you will be able to get a few ideas from where you have to start. So, but if you want a bit more advanced mentorship or any other thing, you can join any of our training programs, as Shabari mentioned, where we'll train you from from beginning to the advanced level. So we'll start from the scratch itself. And any other question? Where we start the front at beginning thing. Learn more about networking and stuff. Uh, what if I just finished my graduation right now and I want to join internship as a student or what? Uh, if you're talking about in just the internship and not the training, one main thing is we don't accept everyone. You have to send all the documents or even your current qualification, because there is a criteria of us accepting people or even the interns for the internship. But if you want training, yes, you can join. For the internship, you can contact our CyberSapiens team, and you can also do that. Other than that, as I told, some websites for beginners other than Bugcrowd. Yeah, as I mentioned, what you do is you start from public bug bounty programs, because it would attract a lot of less traffic compared to HackerOne and even uh, Bugcrowd. That's also Intigriti or Synack, which I mentioned. There usually the chances will be a lot of low of you finding a vulnerability. And even here, that was a website which I found recently, even before this, like just before this webinar had begun, just to show you guys like how a public bug bounty program looks like. But it you are able to find that vulnerability within 15 minutes or so, then yeah, the chances will increase. Start from public bug bounty program. and it will also allow you to build a lot of experience, and also the knowledge which you will be needing how to get public bug bounty programs. So what you can do is just either search for public bug bounty programs on Google, or what you can do is just go to GitHub, where you will get few of the search terms which you have to put in Google to find all of these programs. And what you can do is you can find programs to a specific time or to a specific region. There is something known as Google Docking, which I showed you, right? Using the same function, you can find public bug bounty programs for which are hosted in India or even Australia or even US specific to that region, or which were hosted recently in 2025 or 2024. You can also do that because the one which were hosted recently will attract a lot of less attention from the security researchers. Anyone else? Okay. So why there is no jobs for fresher? Okay, so the main thing is there are jobs for fresher. The one main thing they are lacking is the experience. Okay, uh, we have seen a lot of interns because they will say that they want a job, but they will be lacking in certain even the smallest topics, if I talk about authentication or authorization, they won't know a simple difference between what that is. So even uh, that will be taken even that will be taken into consideration. How you will use that knowledge, we won't ask you to give us some answers or something, but you should be able to use that knowledge which you have learned. Does try hack me and the other hack the box help with bug bounty? Yes, it will help you to build a bit of experience as a beginner, but don't always rely on that because it's you should use that knowledge which you learn there on real websites. Those will be labs which were only made for that specific attack or some specific task which you have to perform. The main thing is people think that okay, I solved try hack me and hack the box, and you will be able to actually find targets on the client website. So what we require you, if you want to apply for a job in any of the company, you should think creatively. It's not like you already applied the thing which you learned in hack the box and you didn't find a bug or vulnerability and you think that there's no vulnerability there. So you should try each and every approach possible. As I told, you should try each and every way to find that vulnerability, and that's the main thing or curiosity which the company will be needing. That's the main. And can you build experience from books? No, like books will help you to get the knowledge, but experience has to be built by actually working on target. Start from any one of the websites which you find. You can start building experience from there. Even if you report a smaller vulnerability at the beginning, even if it's not logical, you can also do that because sometimes they might accept that. They might just give you an appreciation saying that, okay, this was not in the scope, but still we appreciate you to report, you for reporting this vulnerability. You can do that. Any other resources that can be helped with learning bug bounty? You can find a lot of resources, mainly the OWASP website, OWSP. You can refer to that. They will give you details about the vulnerabilities or even just the basic one. And you can also try labs, okay, which are available. Could you tell me about the roadmap? As I told, you can start from the basic, the start from website most of the time because it will help you to build a better foundation. Most of them will start from networking, but there are many people, even including me, who will feel a bit confused when going through the network concepts. Start from the web application. It will help you to build a lot of the basic foundation needed for to go through it. Tools, you can use Burpsuit for web application, Postman for API, and there are a lot of free tools available in GitHub. Just search for subdomain enumeration, you can do that. Or if you need all in one, there's something known as Recon FTW, which can be installed in Kali. Keep that in mind, which is a mixture of all those tools. Necessary for getting a job. If you are asking as a fresher job, then no. Like fresher is not required to have a specific certification, but you have to have that knowledge as I told. If you're opting or going for a job with 2 or 3 year experience, they'll specify what kind of certificate do you need. Like the one which I had CH, uh, along with that, they will ask you for a lot of other certifications. But for a fresher, the main thing is the knowledge which you have. Okay, that's the main thing you have to build. And can you help with the scope of GRC? Sorry, I'm not actually uh, that knowledgeable about GRC since I'm working as a pen tester. So you can contact our team to get to know more about the GRC stuff. Tool name, yeah, you can just research. Okay, this bird suit, and if you want all the tools, then you can say Recon FTW, RECON, then FTW. It's a tool which is installed in Kali Linux. You can do that, and yeah, I think that's all the
All
questions.
right. So I think we'll wind up and we will be providing more information. You can always check out our page on Instagram and you can check out our page on YouTube as well. We will be uploading this session and we also keep having a lot of webinars. So it would be great to have you guys on board with us. So thanks a lot for joining us. We hope to see you guys soon in terms of the enrollment as well as joining us in the next webinar. Thank you.